Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to this is our second annual virtual, I guess, Landmarks Preservation Awards this evening. This is our 2022 Historic Preservation Month Awards. And before I begin, well, first of all, I should say who I am. I'm Kevin Bartoy. I'm the chair of the City of Tacoma's Landmarks Preservation Commission. And before we begin, we like to begin this awards ceremony as we begin our meetings by acknowledging that we're holding tonight this event on the traditional lands of the Puyallup tribe of Indians. So I believe hopefully all of us are within that here in Tacoma virtually this evening. So we couldn't get Chris Rock to do this, so I was substituted at the last minute here. So I hope I hope Ruben will be nice to me as we continue this evening. Each year, the City of Tacoma's Landmarks Preservation Commission recognizes outstanding achievement in historic preservation during May, which is Historic Preservation Month. This year's recipients represent partnerships, innovation, and persistence during unprecedented challenges, as well as passionate commitment to Tacoma's history and culture. Before we move on with the awards this evening, I wanted to give some acknowledgements. This past year, we've had 3 commissioners on the Landmarks Preservation Commission move on, left our commission, and we had 2 new ones come on to this commission. So I'd really like to acknowledge the public service of our commissioners who left the commission this year. That's Roger Johnson, Holly Stewart, and Carol Sundstrom for their many years of commitment to the commission. Thank you for taking your time out of your schedules to diligently and thoughtfully serve on the commission. And on the way to you is a letter from Mayor Victoria Woodards thanking you for your service to the City of Tacoma. So I just want to give a virtual round of applause to those 3 commissioners and also welcome our 2 new commissioners. So we have Commissioners George Zeno and Jenny Sullivan, who have joined us within the past few months and are settling into their new roles with the commission. So welcome to George and Jenny. And now what you all waited for, of course, are the awards. And I should mention also that our certificates are being mailed out. So there'll be no virtual handoffs here of certificates. So those hopefully should be on the way to you. For our first award, in the category of Outstanding Achievement in Community Engagement, we have the Tacoma Art Museum and ETC for the Kinsey African American Art and History Collection. The award for Outstanding Achievement in Community Engagement is for the innovative work with bringing the Kinsey collection to Tacoma and engaging the community in ongoing and thoughtful ways. The Kinsey African American Art and History Collection is one of the most comprehensive surveys of African American history and culture outside of the Smithsonian, celebrating the achievements of Black Americans from 1595 to the present. The exhibition features pieces from the Kinsey collection, which includes paintings, sculptures, photographs, rare books, letters, manuscripts, and more. The exhibition is curated by Khalil B. Kinsey and organized by Bernard and Shirley Kinsey Foundation for Arts and Education and KBK Enterprises Incorporated. The exhibit's time in Tacoma was a joint effort of TAM staff, ETC Tacoma, the Kinsey Collection Advisory Committee, community donors and partnerships, exhibition sponsors, and pop-up restaurateurs. The exhibit was showcased between July and December of 2021. The exhibit brought more than 15,000 in-person visitors and featured more than 10 events hosted both in person and virtually. There were more than 30 media placements reaching people locally and nationally, including local radio, print, and television news, as well as NBC's The Today Show and more. So with that, I congratulate TAM and ETC, and I believe we have David Stretford here from TAM to accept the award virtually and say a few words. David?
Yeah, unmute. Thank you. I'm so grateful to accept the award on behalf of Tam, the board, and the staff, who worked so hard throughout the whole of this exhibition, and our collaboration with ETC was wonderful. We also collaborated with the TUPAC, the Tacoma Urban Performing Arts Center, with the Urban League, and with the Black Collective, amongst many other people. So there was really a very wide group of people who were involved in this, which made it the success that it was. I just want to say that it's so heartwarming for me. I first met the Kinseys in 2019, and booked the show in 2019. But it's so heartwarming to me that so many people came despite everything that was going on, despite COVID and only just having reopened to the public. And it's really a great illustration of the way that TAM works with partners in the community and intends to continue to allow all members of the community to see their faces and hear their voices at the museum. So thanks so much for this award. We're so grateful, and I'll make sure that all of our partners know about this. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, David. And thank you for bringing this collection here and engaging the community so greatly. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent. Our next award is for Outstanding Achievement for Broadening Perspectives. And that award this evening is presented to the Buffalo Soldiers Museum for the ongoing work of curating the Tacoma Museum location, as well as the work in progress to share the story of Buffalo soldiers at Fort Lawton Discovery Park in Seattle. The work of the museum, and particularly its executive director, Jackie Jones Hook, represents a vital part in interpreting the contributions of Buffalo soldiers, the all-Black regiment of the U.S. military. The story of the Buffalo soldiers has, by and large, gone unrecognized and unheard. The Tacoma Museum is one of only two of its kind, the other being in Houston, Texas. From the museum's website here, quote, "As a former soldier who spoke very little about his time as a prisoner of war in the Korean War, Williams Jones' request to preserve the memory of his time as a Buffalo soldier is something his family took to heart. Following his death in 2009, his daughter, Jackie Jones Hook, began formalizing a museum in honor of the all-Black regiment of the United States military. In 2012, the Buffalo Soldier Museum in Tacoma opened its doors as a haven for students and members of the community to learn about a piece of history that took place between 1866 and 1944, and is all too often forgotten in the textbooks. The Buffalo Soldiers Museum Executive Board includes Willie Stewart, President, Audrey Capers-Credell, Secretary, Billy Hebert, Treasurer, Jackie Jones Hook, Executive Director, James Diamond, Stephen Nave, Phil Raschke, and Kevin Washington. This nonprofit organization educates the public through a vast collection of military artifacts, books, articles, and more. Efforts such as theirs to preserve a lesser-known aspect of American history is necessary for our community and our country to grow an understanding of how the past continues to impact the present. With that, I would like to welcome Jackie Jones Hook, the Executive Director of the Buffalo Soldiers Museum, to accept the award and say a few words. Jackie?
Kevin, thank you very much. And to the Landmark Historic Preservation Committee, I'd just like to say thank you on behalf of the Buffalo Soldiers Museum and Board. We are deeply humbled for this award. As we face or go into Memorial Day, this story is about the many who have served unselfishly. And so we salute all of our servicemen and women who have served and who serve unselfishly, and some who gave the ultimate sacrifice. And thank you very, very much for this award. We are deeply humbled.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you for all you do and bringing this and making it an important part of Tacoma. and sharing this story with the citizens of Tacoma as well. Thank you. Excellent. Our next award is for Outstanding Achievement for Innovation in Preservation and Outreach. And this award is presented to the Historical Mystery Series Tacoma Noir during Historic Preservation Month in 2021. In the midst of COVID-19 and the inability to hold Preservation Month 2021 events in person, the City of Tacoma's Historic Preservation Program enlisted Pretty Gritty Tours and graphic designer Sean Alexander to find a creative, dynamic way of engaging people around history, historic preservation, and the theme of Mysterious Tacoma. As part of that theme, Pretty Gritty Tours developed a virtual mystery series in 4 episodes entitled Tacoma Noir. Graphic designer Sean Alexander created the overall aesthetic and an interactive website for the month's theme and events. Website features included links to interactive maps, community partner events, and links to the Tacoma Noir virtual mystery episodes where people could follow along and guess the solution at the end of the series. A hidden object search set on images of some of Tacoma's most mysterious historic buildings brought the fun to all ages. Each episode of the Tacoma Noir Mystery took place in different real-life locations in Tacoma, including locations from 1920s Tacoma that listeners could look up and learn more about. Research into some historic events, people, and settings from newspapers of the 1920s inspired the creation of a fictional mystery plot based on the actual adventures of author Dashiell Hammett while he was in Tacoma, inserted into real Tacoma history. Pretty Gritty Tours went above and beyond by developing original characters and scripts brought to life with talented local voice actors and classic radio sound effects. Chris Staudinger of Pretty Gritty served as the writer and producer of the mystery series. This media partnership brought a high level of engagement across Tacoma and beyond. People tuned in and tried to solve the mystery from as far away as Washington, D.C. The program was offered for free online with videos hosted on YouTube and content available on the Tacoma Noir website without any paywalls or registration required, thereby lowering obstacles and increasing accessibility. This innovation and creativity in programming expanded the audience for historic preservation in Tacoma and beyond. This evening, we actually do not have Chris here. He sends his sincere apologies for not being able to be here to accept the award, but we're very happy that Tacoma Noir Mystery Series is receiving this evening. Our next award is for Outstanding Achievement for Partnerships in Preservation. And this award is presented to Dickman Mill Park and Ghost Timber. So located along the Commencement Bay waterfront on Ruston Way, Dickman Mill Park reopened in July 2001 after an extensive redesign and construction project, which brought the Dickman Mill Company headsaw back to its original location after decades in storage. Project manager Christy Evans of Metro Parks Tacoma, along with the cultural department of the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, Connie McLeod, a design team, artist Mary Koss, a community advisory group, Claire Keller-Schultz from Metro Parks, Rebecca Solverson and Amy McBride from the City of Tacoma, and other City of Tacoma and Metro Parks Tacoma staff participated and helped this multi-year, multi-million-dollar project along to fruition. The project was supported by Metro Parks Tacoma, the Port of Tacoma, Tacoma Historical Society, the City of Tacoma, and by generous contributions from Cambia Health Solutions. With that, I'd like to call on Christy Evans, Claire Keller-Schultz, and Mary Koss to receive the award and to provide some remarks.
Hi, everyone. I think I'm the only one who was able to make it tonight. But first of all, thank you to the Historic Preservation Landmarks Commission for this award. I'm really pleased with how this project turned out. This was kind of one of those kismet things where everything just came together in the right way at the right time. And we were really excited to be able to preserve this historic headsaw, which is on the state and local register, and had been waiting for someone to be able to display it and interpret it correctly after it was originally salvaged from the Dickman Mill site so many years ago. So we're super happy to be able to put it back on the original mill site. And the work that artist Mary Toss did with her ghost log has really enhanced the display of, more than we could have ever imagined, I think, when we started the project. Mary wanted me to make sure we gave a shout out to her fabricator who helped with the metal work. And so Atomic Fabrications did a lot of the ghost log itself. We also wanted to acknowledge the contributions and the work that was put in by the Tribal and Cultural Department. So Amber Hayward helped a lot with Mary's work to get the Lashutsi correct. Part of the log includes like cursive Lashutsi words. And also the audio component there, the ghost timbre, is a recording that we are going to soon debut. I just heard it today for the first time and it's fantastic. 12 minutes of a sound art is what we call it, a sound installation. And Mary has interviewed tribal members talking about the significance of the cedar to the tribe and to just the area in general, as well as interviewed mill workers and has some of the machinery sounds on the recording as well. So you can hear what the logs sound like going through that saw. So we're really thrilled to be able to have this recognition and acknowledgement. So thank you so much for the award. And again, this is a huge team effort, partnership effort, and we're really pleased to be able to bring it to life. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Claire. And I know that my family and I have very much enjoyed the park when we've gone down there. It's a fantastic place. Great. Our next award is for outstanding achievement in leadership and preservation. And I am very happy to be able to give this award this evening to Roger Johnson. Roger Johnson, someone who I've had the pleasure and honor of serving with, I believe ever since I've been on the commission, which has been maybe 6 years now. And it's been wonderful getting to know him. Roger's receiving the 2022 Leadership and Preservation Award. Over more than 20 years, he has served multiple terms on the Tacoma Landmarks Preservation Commission. During his 20+ year tenure, the Landmarks Preservation Commission has reviewed challenging and important projects. Mr. Johnson has been a staunch advocate for historic preservation over the decades, and we appreciate his commitment to Tacoma's architectural and cultural legacy. His willingness to share his knowledge, expertise, perspective, and time to improve the city of Tacoma for all of our citizens is a true act of grace and generosity. For all you have done for our city, Rocky, you have our gratitude. You have been active in other community groups as well, like Historic Tacoma and Tacoma Historical Society. So it is really my pleasure to award you the Outstanding Achievement for Leadership and Preservation this evening. And as always, I love to give you the floor to say a few words. Rocky?
Gee whiz, how do I follow that? Thank you. I'm really honored to get this, and it made me start thinking about why I think historic preservation is important. And I came to the conclusion that the loss of historic fabric throughout the city is kind of like progressive amnesia. You kind of forget your past. It's lost in the fog somewhere. I mean, you can see pictures, but there's nothing like being on site, seeing things for real. And so if there's no connection to the past, then the city really can't tell where it's going to be going, especially with the residential areas. So I'm still going to be involved in preservation, so you can't get rid of me that easy. So thank you again, and I'm truly honored.
Thank you so much, and I'm glad we can't get rid of you. And I must say, I miss having you there at our meetings every other Wednesday. So I'll look forward to seeing you walking around the neighborhood. All right. Our next award this evening is for Outstanding Achievement for Landmark Nomination. And that award is presented to the Tacoma Colored Women's Club for the Henry J. and Nettie Craig Asbury House nomination at 1219 South 13th Street. The Asburys were among the early leaders of Tacoma and Washington's emerging African-American community. And Nettie Asbury played a pivotal role in early 20th century civil rights in Tacoma and the Pacific Northwest. Built in 1887, the house is a remaining example of the initial settlement of Tacoma's emerging hilltop neighborhood. But its major significance comes from it being the longtime residence of Henry Joseph and Nettie Craig Jones Asbury from 1903 until 1966. Nettie Asbury was the organist and music director for the Allen AME Church. For some 50 years, she taught hundreds of children of all races to play the piano in the music room of her home. Washington's African American Women's Club movement began in 1908 with Nettie organizing the Cloverleaf Art Club in Tacoma to create an exhibit of needlecraft and artwork of Black women in Pierce County. Nettie would go on to start a number of improvement clubs. In 1917, she became a charter member of the Washington State Federation of Colored Women's Organizations, for which she would serve as president and participate on many of its committees. Eventually, the Cloverleaf Club would be renamed the Tacoma City Association of Colored Women's Clubs. Today, the Asbury Cultural Club of Tacoma continues Nettie Asbury's legacy as part of the Tacoma City Association of Colored Women's Clubs. In 1909, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, was formed. Nettie and Henry Asbury became two of the founders of the Tacoma chapter of the NAACP. Nettie Asbury also helped establish branches in Seattle, Spokane, and Portland, Oregon, as well as cities in Canada and Alaska. In 1943, The Crisis, the official magazine of the NAACP, published an account of her achievements and listed her as one of the, quote, First Ladies of Colored America. Marshall McClintock authored this nomination for the Tacoma Colored Women's Club, which is now stewarding the property and embarking on a public engagement process for the home's rehabilitation and future use. The listing of the Asbury House represents the first Tacoma City landmark associated with Black heritage and is an important step towards including a more diverse history in the public realm. With that, I'd like to call on Cynthia Tucker, the president of the Tacoma CWC.
Hi, how you doing, Kevin? I'm so happy to be able to accept this award for the Tacoma City Association. And you told everything. She was an amazing lady. We're so proud. And we have a lot of people in the communities with organizations who helped us get this work done. We still got a lot of work to do, but we have acquired the property. And that is the main issue here. And we're just so pleased, beyond words of what we can do and beyond words of how it's going to affect the community and the people of Tacoma. We're so pleased and so happy. And we will continue on with the work that we need to do in lifting up Nettie Asbury's name in the community. Okay, go ahead.
No, I was just going to go ahead, Cynthia.
Okay, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the work on this. This is, I just like to point out, this is such an important moment for the city of Tacoma in including the Asbury House as a landmark. And just as an aside, when the commission went into deliberations for the awards this year, Asbury House was top of the list in terms of needing to be awarded. And then it was very difficult for the commission because we thought that all the work that's gone into this effort, it could have won multiple awards was the conclusion of the commission. So it's very, very awesome to be able to give you this award this evening. So thank you. Our next award for the evening is in Outstanding Achievement in Residential Renovation. And that is presented to Scott and Donna Armstrong and Bob and Don Klimas for the renovation of the John and Henrietta Pratt House at 832 North Steel Street. Constructed in 1903, the John and Henrietta Pratt House is a contributing property within the National Register of Historic Places, listed in the Buckley's Addition Historic District. The house is a well-executed example of the national folk style, probably built by John Pratt and his son Frederick, and represents a fine example of early 20th century working class housing in Tacoma. A skilled brick and cement mason, John Pratt developed a successful small business laying cement sidewalks and street curbs for the city. This renovation team of local old house and history enthusiasts not only maintained the historic character of this house, they also nominated it to the Tacoma Register of Historic Places. Beautiful work to all 4 members of the Pratt House team, and thank you for preserving a piece of Tacoma's history. And I believe we have Scott Armstrong here to accept the award this evening. Scott?
Yeah, can you hear us?
We can.
All right, great. Yeah, apologize for the video, but we are here. I'm here with my wife and Don and Bob Klimas, and we are very happy to receive this award. We poured thousands of hours into renovating this house in the north end of Tacoma. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I also want to thank Marshall McClintock for his many hours of helping me do the research for the nomination and making sure that I crossed all my T's and dotted my I's on the nomination. And I also appreciate Ruben McKnight's correspondence, numerous emails in response while we were doing the renovation to make sure that we didn't violate any of the cultural or historical significant areas, so we could really make sure that the historic characteristics were preserved. So we're happy with the way it turned out, and it was a great adventure. One of our proud COVID tasks that we undertook, and we're grateful to be able to just preserve a little bit of Tacoma for history.
That's really great. I love to hear of making lemonades out of the lemons of COVID, and this is another great example of that. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Our next award this evening is for Outstanding Achievement in Commercial Renovation. And this award is presented to North Alder Partners for the impressive rehab and adaptive reuse of the former Big Value store at 2501 North Alder Street. The project rehabilitated the exterior building envelope and surrounding landscape while converting the interior from a former grocery store to professional office spaces. First opened in 1937 as a Totem food store, the building was designed by architect Charles Ruger and constructed by O.F. Larson and Sons. By 1946, the store operated as part of the Safeway chain and later became the Big Value. Along with Ferguson Architecture and Washington Patriot, North Alder Partners took this neighborhood fixture and brought it new life, back from the brink of demolition. So with that, I would like to call on Brianne Campbell from North Alder Partners to accept this award. Brianne?
Hi there, good evening. I'm not Brianne.
Oh.
I'm Mark Kuntz.
Mark Kuntz, I'm sorry. I had the
That's
wrong
okay.
name. But welcome, Mark.
Well, thank you very much. Good evening. And on behalf of my partners, Brianne Campbell, Danica Morgan, and Jennifer Wing, we want to thank the commission for this prestigious award. And we also want to thank, as you mentioned, Ferguson Architecture and Washington Patriot Construction for fulfilling our vision of preserving the historic elements of this building and also creating a unique, functional, and beautiful office space. The 4 of us are not only the owners of the building, we also occupy the building as law offices. And all 4 of us have very strong ties to the city of Tacoma, and we look forward to serving the city of Tacoma for many years to come. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mark. And I must say that this is one that I'm very happy is receiving an award this evening. I made calls to Ruben when I saw all of the fencing going up around this building out of fear that there was a demolition permit that was pending. I remember this building when I was a child and going in and shopping in this building. So when Ruben assured me that this was happening and then I watched it progress, it was very impressive. So thank you all for
Very good. Thank you, Kevin.
serving it and bringing back life to this building.
Sure.
Thank you. Our next award this evening is for one of my favorite awards that we've been giving out now for, I think, maybe 3 or 4 years. But this is for outstanding achievement in heritage or a legacy business. And this evening, that goes to Renko's Stadium Pharmacy. I think anyone living in Tacoma knows Renko's. So at 101 Tacoma Avenue North, Renko Stadium Pharmacy has been a visual, social, and economic cornerstone of the stadium district for more than 80 years. When the building was constructed in 1936, it first served as the Grey Goose Coffee Shop and Confectionery. In 1940, George Renkos opened the current pharmacy, an adaptive reuse before we had those terms. It has remained a drugstore since then, along with a post office counter and an eclectic selection of cards, shoes, and gifts. The business is still run by the Renkos family. I'm not sure this evening if we have a representative or not from Renkos to receive this award. If you're here, can you please raise your hand? And we will make sure we get you on camera. I will try to look here. Not seeing a raised hand. I think we'll go ahead and move on though at that. But this is a great one. I love this award because it does recognize those businesses in Tacoma that have persevered and continue to persevere. So that's great. Our next award this evening, I see that was my, we have the slides controlling me like the music in the background at the Academy Awards, so I will move on. Outstanding Achievement for Many Voices, Many Stories this evening is an award that goes to Marilee Tenbara for an article, The House on Fawcett. The Many Voices, Many Stories Award is a new category this year, based on the theme for Historic Preservation Month 2022. This inaugural award is presented to Marilee Tenbara for sharing her family story entitled The House on Fawcett. Ms. Tenbara's story was featured in Grit City magazine last year and tells the difficult personal history of the empty lots along Fawcett Street in Tacoma's former Japantown. In May 1942, the federal government ordered 120,000 people of Japanese ancestry into internment camps during World War II. The House on Fawcett shares accounts of that time as well as the aftermath. By sharing her story, Ms. Tenbara has allowed us all to better understand a complicated, painful, and largely unknown aspect of American history through a local, personal lens. Thank you, Ms. Tenbara, for your bravery in helping our community grow and understanding how the past is not truly past. And I'd like to acknowledge that Sierra Hartman of Grit City Magazine did the photography for this, and I'd like to call on Marilee to accept the award. Marilee?
Sorry.
Oh, there we go, Marilee.
Many months of doing this, I would have this down. So I just really wanted to say thank you can I just give me one moment? I need to find my.
Definitely take as much time as you need. We're
thank
all
you
used
so
to
much.
virtual life nowadays.
Oh. Okay, let me do it over here. Okay, so I want to thank the State of Tacoma and the Tacoma Landmarks Preservation Commission, Grit City Magazine, Sierra Hartman, who edited the piece, and Sarah Kay, who is the other magazine, the editor of the magazine. And we are also honored. I wrote this story in part to imagine and spend time with people in our Japanese community who used to live and work on Fawcett and Market Avenue and the surrounding area. So I was thinking about things they may have felt in their tight-knit community. And then on May 16th, 1942, we just had that anniversary. They were forcibly removed from their homes and businesses and had to leave all of their possessions behind, only because they looked like the enemy. So they were imprisoned in camps and they didn't know when they would return. And then after the war, most of the Tacoma Japanese people did not come back because there was nothing really for them to come back to. And then those who did come back, people like my mother and her family, I just would imagine it would be very hard to see your community that has been erased. So I want to also recognize Lisa Hoffman and Mary Hanneman of University of Washington, Tacoma for writing Becoming Nisei. They interviewed people like my mother and my aunts and other people in the community and really captured these very meaningful stories that honestly, when I was younger, I just took for granted. And then I'd also like to recognize the Chinese Reconciliation Project Foundation and Bates Technical College for producing a short documentary about the Tacoma Japanese community. And so be on the lookout, that's coming up. And then I'm attempting to write a novel about the Tacoma Japanese community. It's historical fiction. So I don't know, does Grit City, would they like to say something?
I don't know if someone is here from Grit City, actually.
Okay.
So I'm not sure, but
Sierra Hartman is here.
oh, okay. Sierra?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I mean, this award is primarily, and this is 100% the kind of story that we like to share in our magazine, and it makes us, it makes the magazine what it is. And I think it's just fantastic being able to share it. It's surprising how many people we hear on social media saying like, wow, I had no idea, or I always wondered what those stairs were for. And I think especially now, you know, the condos are replacing these lots on a daily basis, it seems like. I think it's important to make note of it as much as we can, because it really did, it's a piece of, it marks a fork in the road of Tacoma's history, I think. Oh, and I just wanted to give a shout out to Tyler Sporer of Rotator Creative. He did the graphic design on this. I did the photography and helped with some editing, but the layout in the magazine is absolutely brilliant, and it was a lot of effort put in on that end. So shout out to them too.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Marilee. And it sounds like, well, we can always look forward to Grit City, new issues of Grit City Magazine, I know. And it sounds like, Marilee, we have something to look forward to reading when you finish your novel.
Thank you.
Look forward to that. Thank you so much. Fantastic. Well, and with that, I am going to ask for, that's the end of our awards this evening. And I'd like to ask for a virtual round of applause, or actual round of applause, if you can give that, for all of our recipients of this evening's awards. So thank you all. And congratulations. And I'm just going to end this evening by mentioning that we are still in Historic Preservation Month. So we've got a few days left here. And we do have a few more upcoming events. The city's historic preservation staff puts together a tremendous slate of events every May. And we have two I'd like to mention. So an architectural history walking tour of the Brewery District with Downtown on the Go, led by Susan Johnson and Sarah Hilsendegger. Sarah's a commission member, and Susan with the City of Tacoma's Historic Preservation Program, and Downtown on the Go staff and volunteers. Wednesday, June 1st. You can go on the Downtown on the Go website for registration info, and that event is free. And the other one is the Great Tacoma Virtual Food Tour, and it's a video by Pretty Gritty Tours, and it's releasing tonight on YouTube at 8 p.m. So something to look forward to this evening. And you can see a whole calendar of the Historic Preservation Month events on hpmonhtacoma.com. That's all one word, hpmonhtacoma.com, or visit the Tacoma Historic Preservation Facebook page. And I'd like to thank you all for joining us this evening. I'd like to thank you all for all the work you do to bring the history of Tacoma to life, and the many stories, the many voices that brought us here to where we are today, and hopefully that we can learn from as we move forward. So thank you all. Good evening. Take care of each other. Be kind to one another. And yeah, we're going to get through this and hopefully see each other in person one day again. So thank you all.